I'm Zina Lawrence. I'm an assistant dean for the School of Business at the University at Albany. I've been with the university for about 16 years and been advising graduate business students for 15 of those years. Well, it's an opportunity for students who want to get a law degree and want to be practitioners of law, but also want to have a really keen understanding of the business world, the world that they will be operating in, to get both degree programs at the same time. So they're able to get their JD from an accredited law school and an MBA from hopefully an accredited business school, and be able to combine those kind of skill sets when they're launching their career, rather than trying to kind of build up that acumen as they're going along as practitioners. So it really does give them a head start in terms of launching their careers as corporate lawyers or lawyers within the business community. I think it's primarily for early career candidates, for individuals who don't have that exposure to a business environment, and they would like to get that through academic setting rather than having it be through corporate training or work within the field. Of course, it's obviously accessible to others who have their MBA and who are kind of returning back to a program that might be suitable for them, or lawyers who are practitioners who want to really kind of have those combined credentials. So having that combined JD-MBA is useful for them as well. But typically, it's individuals who are coming directly from their undergraduate institutions, looking for an opportunity to get kind of a better position when they're launching their careers. And this is a really wonderful way to be able to do that. Our program is designed specifically for students coming directly from their baccalaureate degree. Okay, they'll start at Albany Law School, which is our sister school in this program. They will take their first year at Albany Law School and then transfer into UAlbany for their second year, which would be their MBA year. Okay, they'll do 2 semesters and a summer here at UAlbany, and then go back to finish their JD and do their research at Albany Law. So it really is a combined program where we're kind of taking an intersection of business law and an intersection of corporate law from the Albany Law School, and combining it with our traditional MBA degree program with the 1 year here at UAlbany. Obviously, one of the cons is that you're adding on to your educational experience, right? You're adding an additional year to what would normally be a 3-year post-baccalaureate degree. And that additional year is, it's time as well as money for students. So it is a cost-benefit analysis they need to do, kind of weighing the benefit of having that combined degree program rather than just having the JD and launching their career with the JD. It also is taking them away from the law school for a year. For some, that's connections, that's kind of building on that strength of networking within the law school. They somewhat lose that, kind of removing themselves from that law school environment, working with colleagues and things of that nature on joint projects. They will lose that momentum that they might have gained in that first year at Albany Law by coming here to UAlbany. Another issue is obviously, we're talking about 2 different types of curriculum and 2 different ways of approaching curriculum. Law school has a very set way of delivering. That Socratic method is very embedded within most law school environments. And a law school kind of prepares students in that first year to be successful in that methodology of teaching and instruction and learning. When you exit that and go into a traditional MBA program, you're working with all different types of learning styles. You have all different types of curriculum that you're learning. You might have some that are that Socratic approach, but most of the programs are team-based learning. You're working in a collaborative environment. You're doing case studies and case analysis, but in a very different way than you would in law school. So, kind of turning your brain into a different direction, maybe more similar to what you experience as an undergraduate. For some, that transition is difficult, And then, of course, you have to go back to that more traditional law school method after you finish the MBA, that transition also can be very difficult. So there are some real negatives to wanting to do a JD-MBA. I personally think the positives definitely outweigh the negatives. For many people, they need that leg up. There are a lot of law degree programs globally. Of course, in New York State, we have a fair share of them. Some of them are very well known, and if you add the Northeast to that kind of land of law school, you have the big names. You have the Columbia, you have the Harvard, you have the Princetons. I mean, they're really very powerhouse locations to get a law degree. So why would someone who is trying to compete in that environment for getting that first job and that first opportunity, for having that additional educational experience really can make a difference. It opens up some doors that might have been closed to them because it's such a competitive environment. Right. So having that extra credential, having that MBA, which is a very powerful degree as a standalone, combining that with the JD really puts those students in an advantage when they're looking for opportunities within the job market. They also have a skill set that is very unique. Most lawyers speak lawyer, lawyerese, lawyer-esque. They speak that language, but they might not speak the language of business. And when you're advising a client, when you're working with people in the business world, the opportunity to be able to speak their language and be able to relay concepts and ideas and challenges that you see as a lawyer, but in a language that they can understand, is invaluable. It really is a fantastic resource for individuals, especially if they're working within a corporate environment where there really is a very distinct language and understanding of that company or that environment. To be able to have that inside is really great. Bless you. That insight is really great, and I think a lot of people don't recognize the value that has. And on top of that, most of our students will go on to do either a research project or a master's essay, where they're combining the law school curriculum with the MBA curriculum, and for us it's a 6-credit thesis that they will write, and in that they're really able to focus on a particular area of interest. So if they're really interested in in marketing and working for a marketing firm or an advertising firm, or they're really interested in working in kind of an IT environment, cybersecurity, digital forensics. They're really interested in kind of data management, and having a really good understanding of all the challenges, the legal challenges that are afforded with having a large set of information that you're responsible for. Understanding how businesses utilize the information that they have, understanding how businesses interact with clients. And the kinds of pitfalls that can come along with those interactions, understanding, the challenges that corporate entities face when they're dealing with other corporate entities. Having that inside knowledge is fantastic, and you really can't get that from law school. You really do need that, kind of embedded space within a business environment, and the MBA will give you that. There's a couple of different answers to that question, so I'm going to approach it from 2 different angles, if I may. The first is location. Okay, where you want to work and where you want to launch your career, that matters. And where you get your degree and how affiliated that degree program is with the companies or the agencies or the firms that you want to work with, having that knowledge and that understanding of, this is a high quality program. This is a program that has that name recognition within the region that you want to work. That's really important on both the JD and the MBA side. Okay, so for individuals who are looking to be practitioners in a particular area, if you don't have a JD-MBA program, you're going to want to get that combined degree from a set of schools that are very well recognized within the space that you want to work and live when you finish the degree program. Okay, in that case, the name recognition, it will be important. You would want to get something at an Albany Law School and a NYU, or a Columbia and an NYU, schools that are highly well regarded, known worldwide to have and deliver quality degree programs. And you'll be able to launch your career in the Netherlands, for example, without much of difficulty because of the name. However, if you're looking to really capitalize on the quality of the degree programs, having an AACSB accredited MBA is really important. That's the accrediting body for graduate business programs. And that has worldwide recognition, right? So in that sense, where you get the MBA, I think it's more important to have an AACSB accredited MBA than it is necessarily the name of the school or where you actually get that degree from. So look for accredited degree programs if you don't have those combined programs within your region. Look for programs that you can use an outside agency or an outside entity to vouch for the quality of the program if the name recognition won't be there, right? And for business schools, it's AACSB. It's that cost benefit analysis that you have to do. You are adding on an additional year of study. Okay, so that's an additional year outside of the workforce for most people, and you're adding on the expense of an MBA program. We're very lucky within the capital region of New York to have an AACSB accredited program within a state institution. Right. So we're part of the State University of New York, 64 campuses throughout the New York region. We are a university center here at Albany, one of 4 university centers. So we have that standing within the New York metropolitan and beyond region as being a state university. We have the accreditation, that's an international accreditation with AACSB. So we really do have that kind of, and because we're a state school, it's relatively inexpensive compared to private schools. Right? So we really are a great value for individuals looking for combined programs. I would definitely recommend, even for international students, look for those kinds of credential within state institutions. They're going to be less expensive than the private schools. And they're going to give you a high quality education because the accreditation body makes sure that they will. So you really are getting the best of the educational experience at a much more affordable price. For unfortunately individuals who are in countries or in regions that don't have these kinds of combined programs, you really are going to have to invest in the name recognition. Right. And there you'll be spending probably more for that degree or that combined degree than someone who has the opportunity to do it at a state school or a regional school. But I will say that the benefit of it is, as I said, you're able to launch your career within a corporate environment with a credential that's well recognized and highly valued. And that is going to, in and of itself, is going to give you a level up in terms of hireability, but it also will yield higher salaries when you're launching your career. And of course, that old adage, start low, stay low, is important because the higher you can launch your career in terms of salary, the more salary you'll have within your lifetime, right? So we want to have people start at the highest level they possibly can. And one way to do that is with the JD-MBA. Our JD-MBA students are highly successful, not just, I do not want to accredit it just for the degree program. These are highly motivated people who seek out that additional credential, right? So they're going to be successful, just in and of themselves. The JD-MBA definitely helps them along that path. I would say that probably the most highly valued opportunities our individuals have gotten have been within private corporate model. So some of them have gone to work for GE, some of them have gone to work for Global Foundries, which is a large tech fabrication company, international company within the capital region. Some of them have gone to work for the large hospital center here, which is Albany Medical Center. They've really landed fantastic positions because they have that business piece. As I said, I think they would be very successful as attorneys, regardless of where they went. But they were able to land different types of positions in that way. Some of them have gone on to work for law firms, and unfortunately, we don't track them after they get that first hire. But they've been able to land some really good first entry level positions within law firms. And I'm sure that a part of that was because of the MBA that they hold, as well as the JD. One of the ways to do it is to look for programs that are specifically, the MBA program I'll speak to first, the programs in the MBA that are specifically geared towards students who don't have a lot of work experience, or maybe changing their careers and using the MBA as a way to do that, and the combined program as a way to do that, because you really do need a solid foundation in business. Right. Some of these students might have had some undergraduate coursework in business, as a major or as a minor, but have that really unique approach to where training professionals to go into the workplace is, I think, really important in a JD-MBA program, because your emphasis, your focus is really going to be the JD, right? And the knowledge that you get from the MBA program really needs to be foundational knowledge, needs to be those core skills that you're going to need, that strategic planning skills, operation skills that you're going to need. You want to make sure that you're looking for an MBA program that's going to offer those foundations. Right. And a lot of them are becoming more and more specialized because they're trying to meet the needs of a particular marketplace. And that's really not going to be a great value to somebody who wants the JD-MBA. You really do need foundation courses within your year or year and a half of study. So that's one thing I would definitely have students look for. I would say look for programs that start with the JD. I think that's really very important to get your foot in the door in the law school, to really establish yourself in the law school in that first year or maybe the first 2 years before transitioning to the MBA. As I said before, it can be challenging because there are two different ways of thinking and two different ways of studying. But I think it's important if you can start with the JD side and then transition to MBA. I think that's a better approach than vice versa. And obviously, as I said, look for a solid curriculum base within an accredited school, and not all accredited schools are highly, are very expensive, but they're all highly regarded. So look for an accredited business school, and combine that with the JD program that's going to be, of value to you in terms of launching your career. With the first year MBA students, before the MBAs go on to do their concentration, so they're getting those foundation courses. And so it still feels like a cohort because all the students are entering at the same time. They take all their courses together. So you do build up that networking opportunity within the MBA, which again is very important if you're looking at, kind of reconnecting with individuals at a future date, using that network to kind of bolster your career and help them professionally as well. You do have that network opportunity because you will be part of a cohort in the MBA, and you're working in teams, so you get to know these people pretty well. And then you would also have the benefit of having faculty who are kind of gearing their study and gearing their approach to entering students. Right. So there's not an expectation that you have a high level of knowledge in business administration and business foci. Whereas if you're coming into a program that is kind of dispersed, that has students who are coming in as professionals, students who are coming in right from their undergraduate, students who are career changers, all that kind of mixed together, it can be very difficult for someone coming from a JD program to enter that and not have a cohort to really call their own. I think I like our approach very much. I think it works well for students, especially for students who will then be going back into a JD to finish off. If you already have your law degree, if you already are a practicing lawyer, going back for the MBA makes a lot more sense. And that way, there's a lot of very, very good programs that will offer that MBA and different methodologies. You could do it as a full-time program, just stop your law practice or your work as a lawyer, do that 1 year to 2 year degree program, and then start as a JD with an MBA. Or you could do an evening-based program. For example, here at Albany, we have a part-time MBA that's an evening-based program, so you can continue to work as a practitioner. And we do have lawyers who've gone on from Albany Law School and other law schools who come back to do the JD-MBA. So it's a nice combination to be able to do that as an evening student and continue as a practitioner. You might also want to look at kind of weekend or executive MBA programs if you have your JD already. They're usually shorter in nature, much more intense in study, and you'll be working with individuals who have either higher levels of degrees, doctors, lawyers, etc., or junior executives looking to go into the C-suite with the MBA. So you're working with the caliber of people who are looking to use the MBA in a similar way that you are. So those executive programs might be a good option for somebody who's already practicing law. I think the JD is probably geared more towards, as I said, someone coming directly from their baccalaureate or only a few years out, looking to launch their career with the JD-MBA. I think the admissions process can be very confusing for people. So I would say if you are looking at JD-MBA programs, each program is going to be unique in terms of the application and the admissions process. So you want to make sure that you know what's going to be needed. Most will use the LSAT, which is the placement exam for law schools, in lieu of a GMAT for the MBA. So if that's of importance to you, you don't want to have to sit to be in law school and have to sit for a GMAT. Maybe look for a program that allows the LSAT to serve as that entry. Some programs require certain grades or certain levels in the law school before you can be admitted into the MBA. So look for whatever credential you need to have or whatever grades that you would need to have through law school in order to be admitted to the MBA. We work very closely we have a strong affiliation with our combined program, and it is truly a combined program. There's shared courses between the two of them. Some programs are more standalone, like you can do both of the programs, but you're earning a very separate degree program from the MBA. The JD is very separate. If you would rather have a more combined program, look for something that combines those credit hours. The faculty work well together and will work with you in that way. If you would rather have this kind of that separation between the two, then you want to look for a program that's clearly defined in that way. So that admissions piece, that pre-assessment, I think is really important. And once you have that, and you've selected the schools that you want to apply to, obviously just follow the application guidelines and you'll be in good shape.